I really want to appreciate everyone who's made it on time. Everyone else will just have to catch up and they can always watch the session right after. So welcome to Vwaza community. Just going to give a brief introduction to what Vwaza is. It's a Malawian and African-focused music digital store, aka music distribution platform as well. It shares 80-20% split with the artists that distribute via its platform. It is no subscription fees, no hidden costs, no surprise payments that you have to make. All you have to do is sign up with your email address and you're ready to start distributing your music. So a lot of the times as artists, we release music, but we're not really making money because we're counting on Spotify or we're counting on other people to make money for us. But we're very happy to have Vwaza here. But most importantly, we're very happy to have Kini and Chioma to shine more light on how music distribution works, because this is one of the many ways that we can make money, real money, when it comes to the music, yeah? Allow me to open the floor for you, Kini and Chioma. Please introduce yourselves, and then we can get started in what today is all about.
All right, I think I'll just go first. Hello, everybody, and I hope you're having an amazing day. Actually, my name is Kini-Abasi Edet. Some people call me K, basically K for short. And I head operations for the Creative Industries Initiative for Africa, and we're a platform focused on connecting people to information and opportunities in Nigeria and across Africa as well. We do that through our creative programs, such as the Music Business Academy for Africa. So it's amazing being here, and thank you for having me.
Hi everybody, I am Okoro Frances Chioma. I mean, Kini just makes it sound very smooth. Am I right? But yes, everybody calls me Oma, but Chioma is okay as well. I am the head of A&R at MBA for Africa, or CIIFA for Africa, right? But on the side, I run my company called Synnex Entertainment. We have a music distribution arm. Big shout out Vwaza. Thanks for having us on here. My company also represents producers, artists. We do some things like A&R, marketing, just to mention a few of it.
Awesome. So today's conversation is about music distribution, and you are absolutely the perfect people to talk to about this. Let's break it down from the very top. For somebody who's completely new to this business, how would you explain how digital music distribution works and why it's very important to the artist's journey?
So I would often just say, do you know what Apple Music is? Do you know what Spotify is? They are called digital streaming platforms. So the process of the way you can pick up your phone and just listen to something on AudioMac, that in itself is called, the music was distributed, right? So the music gets onto those digital streaming platforms through the process of music distribution. So I think I can explain it to you like you're 5. But if you're trying to get to music, listen to music on AudioMac, Spotify, Apple Music, you have to talk to a music distributor that now helps you get your music on those streaming platforms, right? Because to be able to get your music on those streaming platforms, you often need to work with a third party that has like a music distribution license, or you could talk to a direct distributor that has like a partnerships with the DSPs. But they're just going to get your music on those streaming platforms.
Why is it important for local artists to understand distributions? Because so far we have Spotify, which pays out 0.00 whatever they feel like that year, and then you have other platforms that offer they take 10%, they give you 90%. Could you shine a bit more light on why distribution is important to the artist?
First of all, that at this point in time, it is the medium it's the medium that if you're trying to get a lot of people to listen to your music, a lot of people right now using smartphones are using streaming platforms. Where we're living eras where you go to websites, maybe webtrick.com, but this is webtrick is like far back, where you had like 2exclusive and you had all the notjustok's.com websites where you could go listen to music. Right now, everybody is trying to stream. It's made easier. You could listen on Boomplay. Depends on your region, right? So if you're trying to get to that diverse audience, because most of these DSPs, digital streaming platforms, have a a volume of audience. Spotify has like a good amount of audience in different regions. So as a creative, locally, internationally, wherever you are, right, you're trying to tap into that audience where there's a bubble of different regions, people from Nigeria, because social media is great now. Because you could be in Malawi and somebody in India is really, really vibing to your stuff. But the only way they're able to do that is through this medium of like distribution, and your music is on digital streaming platforms.
Thank you. That was clear. And so let's look at the evolution of music distribution. Kini, maybe you could shed more light on this. Like before platforms like Spotify and Boomplay, how were artists being able to get their music out there?
So, just a little bit of background knowledge on this. I mean, before we had digital streaming platforms, it was it was a CDs market. So distribution in that context would require your CDs adequately being produced to a certain number and then shipping them off to digital stores, to physical stores rather, that actually sell these CDs. So distribution, they would be making sure that when you release, you have properly sent these CDs across to stores so that when you release, your fans, your audience can walk into a store close by to them and they have access to these CDs quickly and at any time they walk into the stores. It's the same thing when you compare it with a DSP, for example, a digital streaming platform. You need to work with a distributor, as Choma mentioned earlier, to make sure that when you release this music, when you announce that, oh, the music is out, your fans, your audience can open the Apple Music, search your profile, and the music is there on your profile. So the distribution doesn't change, it's just the platforms that change. So even back when we had physical stores, you would have to pay for premium placements depending on the budgets behind your release. So some stores you walk in and the very first rack you see, you buy, your focus is on there because you see the premium placement for these CDs. It's the same thing that happens on DSPs, for example. So when you open your Apple Music, they have huge editorial placements depending on the project. So it's just kind of the same thing. It's just that the physical store is now a digital store. So the essence of the distribution is still the same across board. So that's just what needs to stick in mind when it comes to understanding the background, the olden days distribution, and then the modern day distribution.
Okay, would you say that the traditional ways of distribution are still relevant to African artists in this day and age? Because now you have a lot of people who just distribute the music via DSPs and that's it. But then you still have other people who focus more on the physical distribution. But we've also seen the likes of vinyl, is that how you pronounce it? Vinyl or something like that. It's making a comeback. So
Yep.
what are your thoughts on those ones?
Okay, so when you now look at Africa, for example, our internet penetration is not fully at 100%, or I think anywhere upwards from 70. So you still have a huge part of the population. I mean, I can speak for Nigeria that we still have a huge part of the population that still buy CDs. So sometimes you don't need to, you need to just observe your local market and then you see if you still have some audience that are still consuming CDs that fit into the personas that you're targeting. Maybe for your marketing, you have a certain part of your audience that you can capture with CDs. Then you can still integrate CDs into your marketing. You can still integrate CDs into your distribution process. So you can make it a perfect hybrid of both. So you, for this particular location, I want to have CDs and target a certain audience. So you have your strategy around that, the stores you're speaking to, if people there are still using CDs, then they would have stores where they go to buy these CDs from. So that's kind of the way you can make it a hybrid. Because if you look at Africa, there's still a huge part. I don't know for Malawi, but in Nigeria, there's still lots of people that drive cars that use CDs and still a huge part of the audience that still buy CDs. They have like DVD players and stuff like that. So I mean, it still works.
I think that's interesting because we have access to the internet, we tend to think everyone else has access to the internet. So I think it's important as emerging artists, especially to combine the physical distribution and the internet distribution as well. Because here in Malawi, the internet penetration is quite low. Chioma, what are your thoughts on the very same issue? Any way that you distribute your artists or your producers, how do you use these different distribution channels to distribute for your artists?
So I think Kini has like touched like a good part of it of the conversation, right?
Mm.
However, something that can be added, but I think it would just be classified as maybe like an offline promo tool, right? So that's like doing DJ mixes. So because that's also a means as to how music is distributed. Like, so I'm passing or I'm trying to shuttle from one location to another, and in passing I hear like a DJ mix or something, right? So that also conveys or takes the music from point A to point B because people get to listen to it. So say you're on a bus and there's a mix that just it's in a loop and it's playing and playing and playing. Then the next set of people that enter as well, it's also still in a loop and playing and playing and playing, right? So in that manner, you've marketed the music, but you've also distributed the music to like a fresh audience or people that already commute normally,
Mm.
right? CDs, yes, 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 yes. There were also websites, people you have to like they uploaded, but I think most of those ones now were like just piracy, because we Africans, there, right? I think we really, really like touched on like a good vital part of like the conversation already.
Okay, so let's talk about metadata. I don't know
Mm.
how many artists in the room understand what metadata is and how it relates to royalties. Could you break down what metadata does for artists' music when they're getting it out there and how it's important to their earning royalties?
Okay, so metadata simply means the information of everybody on a record, right? So because you start making money off of music, there's performance royalties, there's mechanicals, there's publishing, right? So metadata means who's the producer of this song. Okay, you have credits for that. Who's the songwriter on this song? You have credits for that. Who's the performer of this song? Because there are some songs that the person that wrote it did not sing it. So the person singing the song is the performer of the song. The person who wrote it might not necessarily be the person performing the song. Right now, it's very important for you to submit metadata to distribution, because on the publishing arm of everything, when you register your music on your PRO, it's still metadata that you provide that, oh, okay, on this song, let me use examples. Wizkid wrote this song, but the video performed this song. Then London produced this song, right? Now, whoever is their PROs, what they do collectively is, oh, I represent London. This is the metadata for everybody on this song. This is what percentages everybody gets on this song. This is London's share. So we're here to collect, because there are some royalties that is collected from distribution. There are some that distro doesn't touch at all, right? There are some that is intertwined, like neighboring rights and all that, right? So there are some that it's the distro that has to collect it and then still distribute it. But it is the metadata now that's the fact. It helps us with the facts. Who produced what? Who wrote what? Who has the credits for it? Then how is the money being shared? What's the split sheet? What's the royalty split on everybody that's a contributor on this song? Okay, this person gets this person doesn't get that, right? But it's also very vital because it helps you with credit. So you see a song there, Drake does a song, there are over 7 writers. Oh, my friend wrote this song as well. The only way we verify is when we go check, we see your friend's name, that oh yeah, he actually gets credit, notwithstanding that they are still ghostwriters. But that one now is another ball game entirely, right? But this is basically what metadata is. This is how metadata helps keep track of royalties, or can help keep track of royalties, who gets what and what percentages for each party on the song.
Thank you. For those of you in the room who might not know what a split sheet is, Kini, could you break it down for us? Like here in Malawi, for example, sometimes you're in a studio session and you're hyping and you're vibing and everyone is, contributing lyrics, contributing their 2 cents on the song. But at the end of the day, when the song comes out, you only have one artist who actually performed it. And then everyone else tends to not be credited. Could you shed more light on why split sheets are now an important addition to how artists and producers are working together?
Split sheets are very, very important. Very, very important because they focus majorly. Split sheet. I mean, some lawyers could adapt it to include the percentages from the sound recording aspect, but split sheets majorly is for the composition. So the composition is made up of the producers and the songwriters. So people that contribute to the instrument and people that contribute to the lyrics and the melodies. So as a producer on a song, as a songwriter on the song, when you vibe, when you do your thing, you need to make it pretty clear that, oh, we are going to negotiate splits on this, and make sure that, they send in an offer, you review, and then you negotiate for your percentage on that song. So now why split sheets are really important is because when there is any revenue inflow, the money is broken down based on the percentages of the song that you own. So it's a framework for how revenue for that song will be split for a really long time till there's maybe renegotiation at some point. But it's really important. You don't want to be caught in the middle of, oh, money just came in and you're trying to split money at that point. You're trying to agree percentages. Nobody is going to negotiate lower. And you end up having a catalog that is in dispute and nobody on the song is able to make money of the song. So it's really important that you negotiate it and you agree the percentages before any money comes in. So that time everybody is clear-headed, nobody is having any hate towards somebody because of money. Everybody's just in a clear slate, discussing the percentages, agreed upon, sign the document, and then when revenue starts coming in, it's already a solid foundation, and then it can just be split. So that's a core importance of how split sheets play a role in the royalties and metadata section.
Thank you for that. I hope you guys took note of that because I know we have a lot of producers and artists in the house. We are very generous with our creativity, but it's time for us to take the split sheets and the paperwork when it comes to the music quite seriously. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is, now, I know a lot of you guys already know what format to upload your music, but I would love to hear from you, Chioma. What is the ideal format for uploading music to a distributor? What is the best, I don't know, is it a WAV, MP3? What is the best type of file?
Yes, so Wave, yes, definitely Wave, because Wave is like the highest quality of audio, right? If you have the funds and you can go as far as doing a Dolby Atmos mix, please go ahead to do that, right? What that does, it gives you an edge over other artists releasing music, and DSPs tend to give you some sort of extra support because it's a Dolby Atmos was it's a new, not necessarily new, it's like 2 years in now, right? Like, so distros are introducing Dolby, right? Dolby mixes, like, so when people listen to music, just the experience for the listeners. So DSPs often tend to give extra, I don't want to say extra support, but yeah, it's something like that for the people that like are trying to also do that, like you're trying to give your mix or your final version of music in Dolby Atmos, yes. But Wave is the best, format still for audio, that if you're looking to submit music, you also want to make sure your metadata, artwork, who wrote what, who produced what, your lyrics, very important. If you want to also have like a little description for your music, so you see the way, when, and I don't know why a lot of fast rising artists, they tend to not pay attention. So when you see Sam Smith wants to drop an album, Usher wants to drop an album, Drake wants to drop an album, or they drop an album, then you go to the album, you see like an entire write-up about, it just gives you a feel about what before you listen, you could read about it, right? So there are a lot of creatives that they often believe that, oh, it's until I'm a big artist. No, no. You can submit, yeah, you can submit music and give us a brief description about what the music is about, and you can tell your distro, is there a way I can get this up on Apple Music, Spotify? So when people that discover you from maybe an ad or something, they come to check your music. I think as a fan, I appreciate those little extra things that you do. It tells me you're intentional, and I'm like, oh, okay. When I read about what you write about your music, it also gives me a sense into how you're thinking as a creative, right? So, and some people are really really good in what they write with their words, right? So it just gives me an idea of, oh wow, I'm in for a ride. Yeah. Am I able to answer the question correctly, Kim?
You did. You absolutely did. And I
Yeah.
also noticed that a lot of artists, us artists, we don't do press releases when it comes to releasing music or anything that we're doing. So when you finally do blow up, you don't even have a digital footprint actually that leads to where you are now. So that was
Mm-hmm,
pretty dope.
mm-hmm.
And what are some common mistakes that you've seen in artists and producers uploading their songs? You know, what should they avoid doing?
So avoid not having like any direction for your release. Yeah, I don't have funds to market, but you created a song about love. Regardless of not having funds to market, at least you have an idea of what the music is about. So within that time frame, even if it is for the next 1 month, you want to talk about the music, or 3 weeks, like I reckon you have like a direction for maybe the kind of content you want to create, so that you can, no matter how little, if you release the music and you're doing some content that connects with at least 20 people or 30 people, those 30 people can generate funds for you. Those 30 people can become your community members. Those 30 people, they're the options. You can rinse repeat. Those 30 people can unlock an extra 30 more people. Do you get? And your community grows into 60. So
Mm.
once you release music and you want to be intentional, what's the music about? Okay, am I creating content according to this? Am I trying to talk to other creatives? Oh, guys, can you tweet about my music? Can you talk about this? I'm coming from this point of view. You want to also look at it like how am I connecting with people, with my audience, all of that. Now, I think some mistakes that we make while trying to upload is, if you can do Spotify Canvas. Spotify Canvas, it doesn't necessarily, it's not anything deep. It's an audio, it's a video that doesn't have an audio, right? So it can be any video on your phone library. You can just,
Mm.
there's a specific for it. There's a spec for it. Like even on Spotify for artists, you can see it, or you can Google it, right? Even on Spotify for artists, you can Google it and you can see what the specs is. So you can easily turn any video on your phone library into a Spotify Canva and upload for your release, right? So this, if you can do Dolby Atmos, fine. If you can't do Dolby Atmos, fine still. But wave files, you want to put out like really good artworks. You want to also put yourself out there, put your face out there more. So your artworks can be a variation of your face, your full body profile, whatever way. But the idea is just how to always put yourself out there, because you're selling yourself, you're selling your brand as well. Yes, don't forget to put Spotify Canvas. Like they pay attention to these things. Like they're looking at it, they're looking at, if you can do motion lyrics on Apple Music, fantastic as well. You can do that, fantastic as well. Right. So just these extra little things that these other bigger guys do. There's some of it that they're inexpensive. They're not as expensive as you think they are. You get, you just don't pay attention to it, but maybe you can start paying attention to it.
That's pretty dope advice. I see a lot of us artists when we're doing the artworks for our songs, we just put a flower, a car, you know, whatever image comes to mind. But I hope you're taking notes, guys. When you're releasing your music, make sure you are using your face so we get to associate your music with your actual face. Kini, do you have any other mistakes that we should avoid when it comes to music distribution or getting our music out there?
I think one thing I'd just like to say is always just have your metadata properly spelled out, properly laid out in either a document or an Excel sheet, so that when you send this to your distributor, they are able to credit everybody else on the song properly across DSPs. Because you have some songs that your people upload and then you can't find the producer name, you can't find the songwriters, even if someone played the guitar on the song, and you can't find the person's credit on the song. So please always have your metadata properly laid out and communicate that with your distributor so that that can be uploaded along with your song. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to touch on.
Can I add
Sure.
one more? Yes, I wanted to also say that submit your music early, submit your music in time. Submit your
Mm.
music in time. You want to release music next week, but you want to drop it 7 days before your release date. Then you're now going to be querying your distro. Oh, guys, I didn't get on any playlist. How are you going to get on playlist? Like, how does that work? Right? Submit your music in time. If you're not submitting your music in time, like, and then if you submit in time and you're not getting, it's just a matter of consistency as well. Because the system has to consistently see that, okay, Kim has been dropping music back to back to back to back to back. Oh, she's really making some traction here and here. Do you understand? So submit music in time as well for you to be able to get better opportunities and placement.
That's a major key right there. That's a major key. Still in the same conversation about metadata, ISRC codes, there is a mystery around those. And I would love for any one of you to explain that to us. So when it comes to keeping your own record of songs that you've released or distributed, I think one of the columns you have to keep is the ISRC codes, but a lot of us don't know what those are or where to even find them. So could you dive a little bit into that, into what ISRC codes are and how they help in tracking royalties?
So ISRC codes are very important. So now, Kim, we put out a song. Let's say our song is Venues, right? Let's say we put out this Venues that is going crazy on all the chats and all that. But we wake up tomorrow and Venues maybe disappears from streaming platforms. And Venues is doing 100 million streams. Now, the ISRC code, in maybe there's a dispute for something and we're trying to get it back up on streaming platforms. To re-upload, you need your ISRC code. The ISRC code now is embedded in when you upload music, every song that is uploaded, an ISRC code is generated. What the code does is it helps you track music. What it does is it's a digital skeletal frame for your music. So it's a number, it's 12. It's a 12-digit number, right? That when you re-upload all the streams, the 100 million streams or 200 million streams will still reappear. So it's like, would I say Bitcoin? Would I say Bitcoin? Yes, it's because with Bitcoin, you can put in your blockchain and all the money you have is still there. You can put it on another device and it's still there. You can still see it like that. Do you get? So when you also submit, when you want to receive money, whatever royalties, tracking and everything, the ISRC code, that 12 code, everything is also what helps with the conversation for distros as well.
ISRC code, I'll just add a couple things. ISRC code stands for, I think, International Standard Recording Code, and it deals with, now when it comes to the music, there's the sound recording and then there's the publishing. Now the ISRC code deals with only the sound recording, so it's more or less a unique identifier for that specific sound recording. So the ISRC code for the sound recording is different from the ISRC code for the music video. So it is the code that makes sure that, how do I put it? It's like the serial number of that song. If you want to look at it that way, that's what an ISRC code is, as Omar mentioned earlier. So that if you're switching distros, when your new distro is uploading, the system can basically match the ISRC code and then still give you the amount of streams and likes and stuff that he had under your previous distro. So it's that unique identifier that makes sure that songs are not lost, rights are not mixed. You understand? So across all board, that's the ISRC code. And there's a way the code is structured. I mean, most distributors kind of generate it for their clients. So when you upload, you have the option to, I know for the orchard, you have the option to let the orchard generate it for you. But as an artist, what you need to do is make sure that your distributor shares this code with you so that you have a stash of it somewhere where for your songs, you're putting down the ISRC codes in case you need them in the future for anything you're trying to do with your catalog. So it's a really important code. And then there's a database for ISRC that is powered by Sound Exchange, and I think Sound Exchange in collaboration with IFPI. So if you're trying to do some research on old catalogs, if you're trying to get, I think, an ISRC as well, yes. So you can go to the IFPI.org website to kind of sort that out. So the ISRC is really, really important.
Thank you. So guys, make sure you do take notes. You know, a lot of the times we focus on the making money and being an artist, but if you take a few minutes to create a a folder for yourself in your Google Drive. You should include a Google Sheet in there, and you should have a list of all the songs that you've released and everyone's names that you've worked with, including the instrumentalist, and like Kini has said, the ISRC codes, because sometimes the distributor you're working with might shut down, God forbid, or other times you find that something happens that forces you to move. So having those ISRC codes ready to go can really save you a lot of time. Do we have any more questions before I continue? I'd love to take some questions from you guys. If you're listening and you have some questions, please raise your hand and I can give you the floor for a second. If you don't have any, I'm going to proceed. So to continue with the conversation, what is the difference between free and paid distribution services? Are there any major differences, and is free always better?
I have a theory about free things. There's something Nigerians say. They say free things they worry belle. Like, to translate it to English, it's like it's not all the time that something free is like the best option. But with regards to distribution, it's subjective, or it's, would I say, relative. So it's relative to, I think both works. So when you go to a distro kid, or you go to a CD baby, or you go to a Chinko, or you go to the Orchard, or you go to Our, or you're using Empire, all these companies now, all these distribution platforms have their different means of charging for the services they render. Now, and all of them also have like different tiers of services. So there are artists that you don't have so much catalog. Maybe you're just starting out with your music and everything, right? And you're trying to figure it out. At that point in time, you could go for a free option, but a free option in the sense that, but there's nothing really free with everybody. There's what's it called? There'll be a percentage split sharing, right? So that's why it could seem like it is free, because with DistroKid you can self-upload all of that, but you have to subscribe. You have to pay a subscription, and then it's in tiers, right? While with some other distros, you could pay a one-off fee and just upload as many records as you like. There's some that you pay a yearly fee, right? So it just depends on who you're talking to, what it is that their services are, at what point in your career, where are you right now? Are you an artist that your music is already making money? So you don't necessarily bother you wouldn't necessarily bother about paying an upfront fee, or you don't mind sharing a percentage just to have your music on and on and on and on, and then exploit and make music money back from it. So free, not free. Obviously, the services that are not free, they will definitely come with like some extra benefits. Bless you. Some extra benefits, probably like they'll pitch for you, they could get you some placements, playlist covers, and whatnot. It also depends on what it is that is your negotiation power, right? So yeah, okay, guys, I often advise creatives to work with a distro that you can boss them on WhatsApp, or you can easily reach out to somebody that's, oh please, I'm having an issue, and then you get a response, as opposed to maybe self services. Because self services, you have to send an email, unless their response time is like ASAP. If not, it's easier, it's better. Now that way, okay, you guys are saying we should pay $200 for a sign-on fee or for something. What does this $200 come with? Then you have a face-to-face interaction with whoever it is. That, okay, this $200 comes with, we do editorial pitches. We could also place on some user generated playlists. That's like third-party playlists that are maybe very really good. That could also like build your streaming numbers. Or we could work on your TikTok, or we could do some things, maybe get you some micro influencers. Just the different phases as to how the conversation can go. But it's easier when you're having a one-on-one conversation with who is going to handle your catalog.
I hope it's coming through, guys. Again, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to raise your hand or to drop them in the comment section. So in the event that your music is being taken down by a music distribution company, or it shuts down, what can you do? How do you handle? What happens to the music?
So first of all, I will blame the artist as a distributor, because, but I'm talking from a place of trauma. I would
Why? Explain.
Yeah, so the only reason why your music is going to be taken down is you are doing some suspicious streaming activities, right? But now these DSPs are angry, and what they now do is they don't find you, the artist, they find me, the distributor. So they will find me, yeah, they'll slap a fine, or they could threaten to take down my entire catalog, that, oh, maybe from Spotify or from Apple Music, right? So, because I had something similar happen. They took down an artist's entire album, and he sent me a message like, oh my, I woke up, I didn't see my music on, and I asked him, I was like, what are you doing? He said, I'm not doing anything. I said, okay,
Ah,
so Spotify just woke up and they flagged it. And then I received an email from my backend, and they're like, oh, suspicious streaming activity. Then I go back, I'm like, guy, what are you doing? It's like, nothing. I didn't do anything. I said, oh, but I can see the info from my backend. So there's no point of you telling a lie. Do you
lying.
understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah. But in that situation now, it depends on how dire it is. We file for a dispute, start trying to have conversations with the DSPs. They could claim, oh, it depends on what it is that's happening, right? Whoever is doing marketing for that release, right? So find out, you guys, whatever you're doing, pause or stop it, so that we're not getting more bot streams or streams that are not legit. First, we'll cut that off first. Then we will file for a dispute. Once we file for disputes, if we're able to, they'll usually yank off like a good number of your streams. So they could yank off as much as 50% of your streams, or they could even take it back to like 1K, and then you can build back from there. That's if they agree to put the music back up. Now, if they don't agree to put the music back up, you will be looking at redistributing the music with maybe another person, or it could still be the same distro, but like another back end distributor. Then you use the ISRC and UPC code. So when you do that, it re-uploads as that old song. It doesn't re-upload as a brand new song, right? So, but whatever you could now salvage from the streams that they're taking off, then you can now know that, oh, okay, this is the actual streams that the music has. Do you get it? But in a
Mm.
very serious situation, they could actually blacklist the artists, and then you can't upload music anymore on streaming platforms. But they've been tempering justice with mercy. I mean, they temper mercy with justice. One, yeah, rather. So they've not been blacklisting artists as much as before they used to do that. Now they just yank off like 50% of your streams, and then maybe you have to chill over a period of time. Then you can re-upload.
What if we're in the scenario where I'm distributing with one distribution platform and suddenly I want to change because I don't like how they're doing things, or I want to try someone else? Can I switch distributors without having to lose? I know you've already said the ISRC codes, keep all
Yeah,
that data. Is
yeah.
that transition between distribution platforms as easy as just saying, hey, I no longer want to distribute with you, I want to switch to distributing with these guys?
Yeah, so it depends on your contract with your distro. If it is distro kit, it's easy because you just need to tell them to take it down, and they take it down. There's some distributors that in their contract you have to maybe do 1 month ahead of time, because there's money that comes in quarterly, right? So it will mess up their accounting and whatnot, right? So there are procedures that different distros will have for taking down music, right? So yes, you should be able to wake up and say, oh guys, I want to take down my music. I don't want to distribute to you anymore. But if you sign a contract, you need to look into that contract. What are the terms to be able to do this? So the music has to be up for up to a month, or it has to be up for 2 weeks, or a notice of one week ahead has to be given. You get, so those terms now, you now want to go abide by that because you signed that and you've
Mm.
distributed music. Then you have your UPC and ISRC. When you're done with that process, when they take down everything, then, oh, the new guys are distributing. This is all the metadata. This is the music. This is the artwork. Who wrote what? Who's collecting what? This is the UPC. This is the ISRC. Now re-upload. Then they can re-upload.
Thank you
Understood?
so much. Yeah, you
Okay.
made that very clear. We have a hand up. Okay, so two hands up. Let's start with you. Is Peters? Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Good evening. Good evening,
Go ahead.
everyone.
Good
All
evening.
right, so though I'm just joining now, I missed out. I overheard you talking about the time we are to give before our song will be released. Like how long? I just did mine. Like yesterday, I did mine. So I uploaded one of my track, and they said I can I can schedule the date. So I scheduled it to be on Sunday, which is like 5 days from now. Is that okay, or should I go back and change the release date?
Okay, Chioma, would you like to take that one? Thank you for your question.
Okay.
All
So
right.
for standard releases, it's usually 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, right? But 4 weeks, 4 weeks. You have a single, you have an EP. You want to take opportunity to get on like editorial playlist, Spotify playlist, Apple Music playlist. 4 weeks. 4 weeks is your best bet. So you usually will look at when am I submitting the music? Okay, on the 20th. Then you can now count 4 weeks away from the 20th and then select your release date. You can do 3 weeks, you can do 2 weeks, but 4 weeks is the most ideal. And then like you also be talking to your distributors so they can also advise you on available dates and good dates, because distros usually have those dates. Now there's some distros that have, they could look at the calendar and tell you, wow, on the 25th we have like 6 or 7 releases, right? So it means that there are definitely priority releases in those 6 or 7 releases. Do you get?
Mm,
So
mm,
they can easily just tell you that, okay, why not push it back 1 week forward, or sorry, take it back 1 week, or take it forward by 1 more week, so that they're able to free up. Because when they're pitching to Spotify, they're trying to pitch for all the releases to be priority, but
mm.
there are like a bunch of other distros also pitching. So Spotify can maybe just pick like 2 or 3 songs, and then try to also pick from every other person, the curators as well. So do you understand? So you want to try to maximize the opportunities.
Thank you.
Like I've listened to what she said.
Hmm.
Though mine is a single, not EP. Okay,
It's
it's not
still
an EP. It's
it's
just an
it's it's still
just a
the same
single.
principle. You should
Okay.
go ahead and reschedule it so that you have more time to promote it. You have more time to talk to radios, newspapers, and how they can spotlight your single some more, because you do want more people to hear it, right? So you might
Okay.
have to push it to the other Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. 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 Meaning I can take it to the next.
Yes, you can. Happy, you have a question. Go
My
ahead.
apologies. I knocked off a bit late, so I
No
just
worries.
joined now. First of all, I would like to ask. I'd like to ask Kudi, is there a preference for a distributor that you guys have already shared? And also, I am not trying to shoot anyone here, but I think I wanted to ask a question, since we have people who have more experience with distributors.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard about DistroKid taking more money from artists than what artists actually earn. So I really wanted to ask that from you guys. Maybe you have a bit more information on that. Yes.
Thank you. Did you catch those questions, Shoma and Kini? So his
Yes.
question was,
Okay.
which of the existing distribution platforms do you guys recommend from your experience?
Mhm.
And yeah, and then we can ask the next one after that.
I recommend Synnex Music. That's my company distribution. So basically, everybody is going to want to sell their market. So please don't blame me. Basically, what we do is I try to prioritize all my releases. I really like working with fast rising artists. It helps me discover new music, right? And I really enjoy listening to music from like new artists. I like artists that work with consistency, right? So what we can do for you is, I'm not saying we'll do 200 million streams. I mean, we're going to, because it's a business at the end of the day, right? Some extra services we do is we run ads for some of our releases. We do some press releases across platforms. so that we can get more clients to work with us. Because it's a new company, right? So I think this year makes us the second year. Yes. We started off, kicked off last year, right? So we're trying to get you on charts and all of that and everything. But we do the same thing DistroKid does, just better, and then faster response time, easier access. But I also like to work with creatives that are consistent. Like, give me releases back to back to back to back to back to back, so that we can work on building your streaming numbers. We'll do some playlisting for you, free on the house, free. We pitch for playlists, editorial playlists for free. There's no service for that. Um, there are some user-generated playlists that we work with their curators as well. We also get your music on over a period of time, right? But we also appreciate clients that maybe you could have like a little $300, $400 that you intend to use to run some ads and all of that. We also run some ads for maybe your audio mark. We do some audio ads for free as well for on the house for some of our releases. It just depends on the potential of the artist or the music and all that. Now, but for preference of other distros, it's really, really subjective. See, it's something that if you work with Synnex Music and you don't like the service, you could work with another distro. You might not also like that service. So it's like a variety. Do you get? Different people have like different things that they are doing. They are different. Like my company now, we have some side attractions that I believe are things that I'm trying to use to keep clients. When you go to some other companies, nobody, they're just operating. Nobody, they have like a variety of other artists that are priority. They have people that have budgets, all of that. So you get, so it's just different strokes for different folks.
Thank you.
I think the second question. Okay. Yeah.
Happy. What was your other question?
My other question was, I think I've come across a couple of articles and shorts where they say that DistroKid takes money from artists. The money that artists make across streaming isn't the money that they give to the artists. Basically, we're getting a fraction of the money that we earn through the streams. So I wanted to ask, what's your take on that?
So I think that payout is according to your region. No? It's according to what region you are, unless there's something specifically that unless there's a reason why DistroKid is taking. But I think DistroKid has because I've used DistroKid before. DistroKid has a payout. They have a payouts platform. Like they have like a spreadsheet and everything that you can sort of trace. But you need to be like a data numbers person to be able to like trace it. But there's data everywhere on the internet of how much money comes in per 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 1 million streams, per 100,000 streams by your region. Africa is like has the lowest like payouts because all of us were trying to stream for free. We're not trying to pay for. I mean, I can understand Africa. I love Africa, right? But when your music is coming from like when like a majority of your streams are coming from Europe, other regions of aside from Africa, that's really when you see like you're getting a high payout. You also know now that social media platforms like TikTok also pays royalties, right? DistroKid should collect. Yeah, I think yes. DistroKid collects. Yes. Most of these streaming platforms are modernizing their systems, so they also should collect from. They also should help you collect from these social media platforms, right? So maybe I think that's also something that has given everybody. Oh, I'm trying to cross internationally to get more streams from the US, or I'm trying to get more people in Spain. That's really where paying power, purchasing power is even coming from for the music on digital end of making money from the music. So I don't necessarily know about any claims that DistroKid is not paying what they're supposed to pay the artists.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much for your answers.
Thank you, Happy. We're going to take two more questions and then we're going to wrap it up. Harmony, please go ahead. Keep your question nice and clear and concise. And then we can do Tia next.
All right, so thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to ask the question. All right, as Kim has already introduced me, my name is Harmony Malawi. So I wanted to ask this question. You talked about you own a distribution company. Am I right?
Yes, Synnex Entertainment.
They also talked about like they do some other like free services like I think she was talking about learning arts and some other things. My question is, does those things apply to only artists from Nigeria or around the globe?
Yeah, it's open to everybody. It's not just an artist in Nigeria. I currently have, yes, I was in Ghana in January, and I'm trying to work with some Ghanaian artists because I really like music from like everywhere, right? And I think East Africa, Omo, I think you guys really, really have some interesting music, diverse cultures in your music and everything. No, it's open to everybody. It's not open to just Nigerian artists. It's open to
All right.
everybody.
So I think the last question should be, when like an artist want to reach out to you, is it through an email or they talk to you directly, or they someone else who they talk to and he or she directs them to you?
Anyone you can I'll drop my email, right? I can drop my label manager's email. I think some of my people on my team on here are on the call as well, so if you have my number, sir, you can send me a message like ASAP. I'll respond. Do I drop my email? I can drop my handle as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Harmony. Tia, go ahead.
My question is on community building. How can an artist analyze and leverage like their distribution data, like basically your backend data, to cultivate like a loyal community around your music?
So basically, you also have access to your Spotify for Artists, Apple Music for Artists. You can check your those profiles, right? You can check those profiles. You see that, oh, okay, because and then they break it down to very, very precise. I'm trying to think about a place in Malawi. Do I know anyone in Malawi? But say Malawi now, there's Lagos in Malawi. Like the metadata breaks it down to, okay, people in Malawi, in Lagos specifically, are listening, they're enjoying the music. So you have an idea of, okay, people from this region are listening. How do I target them? For you to be able to get backend info for community building, it's your distro. Your distro should be able to share a spreadsheet, add you to backend information, so you can see every streaming platform. You can see Deezer. You can see let me see, what platforms do we not do for artists? Deezer, because I know a lot of people don't really have Deezer accounts and all that, but there are people that are listening to music on those platforms, right? So your distro is supposed to still create something, and then so while you have your Spotify for artists, Apple Music for artists, and all that, your distro creates a backend info, and you can see on that spreadsheet. It should be regularly updated, so you can see on that spreadsheet. You can see where people are listening. If your music is peaking, you can see from what regions, you can see from where, and then you use that data to now do your targeting. You can target through running ads. So when you see that, oh, okay, a good number of people from Lagos love your music. Somewhere in Lagos is Ikeja. A place in Lagos is called Ikeja. So a lot of people in Ikeja, let's say you live in Ikeja in Lagos, a lot of people in Ikeja and Lagos are listening to your music. You can see that maybe like there's a 30% growth, right? You now maybe want to now do some targeted ads to Ikeja, so you can get more people to come and follow you on social media. So you can do Facebook and IG ads, right? So while they're coming, you now also want to create a content that makes them stay, right? So how do you tap? You could do an intervention, something offline. Go to a school around there, share cupcakes. Oh guys, I'm this artist. I I love this and all of that. Get people's data. What's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? Add them to your group chat. In that process, you are building your community. You get it? So you've gone there, you've seen that there's a demand for the music here, or people here are enjoying it online. You're like, oh, okay, how do I physically meet these people? Then you go there, maybe you go to a school, go to a secondary school, connect with. It's a song for young kids. It's a song for kids that are looking for brighter future. Okay, so how do I connect with the leaders of tomorrow? Okay, what we come here. Oh, I'm this person. You could do low quality merch, shares hand fans, put your face on it, put your QR code. So when they scan it, it's your music that it takes them to, right? In that process, you're doing that, collecting data, adding them to a group chat, add them to an email list, add them to a mailing list. You get, in that process, you're building your community, right? So you've now gone from just seeing that, oh, okay, I have people in this region that like my music, to now going to actually meet at least like 10% of them or 5% of them. You've now shook their hands, you've done content with them, you sang music with them. They've met you, they're like, oh, they put a face to the name that, oh, is this artist that has that song? Wow, I really love this song. My neighbors are playing this song, the DJs here are playing this song, the lounges here, they love this song.
That was extremely helpful. Thank you.
Well, we've come to the end of our sessions, and as we wrap up, lastly, Chioma, please, what can artists do to really protect themselves from changes in distribution policies?
You need to look for a lawyer that is your friend and like make friends with them. Yeah. Then don't sign any contract you don't understand. If it's a distro contract, even with me, don't sign contracts you don't understand, right? Always ask questions. Oh, I don't understand this term. What does this mean? Does this mean you're going to get this percentage? How does it work? Is it in perpetuity? Is it something that rolls over? Is it meant to be like this? Do you get, be curious? Ask questions to understand it. So when you understand, even if there's anything that occurs next week or happens next month, or you wake up, you know your rights, you know the terms of what you've signed. Remember it, you know that, oh, okay, we signed X, this is what we said, this is what Oma said, this is what she's saying. So it's by these words now, because yes, I have to honor my contract, right? So if you said this, you said this. Whatever loopholes are inside the contract, but you need to know what is inside the contract. So to protect yourself, protect your music, always make sure you're signing the contract. You know how you can get into the contract, know how you can get out of the contract. If you're not comfortable, if you're not happy about it, you get, then have a lawyer that you can talk to for advice, for counsel. You can also talk to other distributors, right? Find out, okay, guys, what do you do? What do you like? How can I talk to this person? How do I get the best out of this situation?
Thank you so very much. And people can always connect with you. I will share your socials with them
Yes,
so they
please.
can follow you and check you out as well. The
Yeah.
final question from Madali. So he's asking, is it right to book interviews on media stations as part of your music distribution, or you have to wait for a time to be called or recognized?
They're two separate things, right? But if your distro is handling marketing, because in most cases, some distros handle marketing, right? So if your distro is handling marketing for you, then they should book interviews and all of that for you. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Kim, do you get? Yeah, do you get it?
Okay.
Do you get
Yeah.
it? But these shows are not supposed to book like interviews and all that. It just depends on like the package or your conversation with them. So if they're handling marketing for you, then I'm assuming that it is inside your marketing budget to get you like interviews, radios, airplay. However, if they're also still going that extra mile, it means that they're not just doing a distribution deal. There's like an extra type of deal that, because to book those come with like expenses. So unless it's a side attraction to get you in as a client, that, oh, we can get you on this radio station. Like say I have affiliation with MTVBs, right? Like I have a good partnership with MTVBs. Maybe I have like some slots. I have 20 slots in a year, right? It means that 20 different artists that I do distribution for in the year 2025, I could give them free TV interviews, right? Or it could be paid interviews. So it just depends on what the conversation is like.
Again, appreciating you and Kini for joining us this evening. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. We'll share the recording after. Bye bye.